Hello everyone and welcome back to the Great Book of Grudges. My name is Nathan, and recently I had a video where I spoke about loads of characters that need a touch-up when it comes to Warhammer 3. Not at the release of Immortal Empires, because obviously full development should focus around Immortal Empires, but in the future through patches and all that different type of stuff. Now, I did say in that video that I wanted to expand upon that and do dedicated videos for each of the legendary lords so we could go into quite as much detail as possible and talk about characters that do really need a bit of a change, and today is exactly what we're going to do. So today we're going to start with TRETCH CRAVENTAIL. You see, he's a bit of a joke in the Total War Warhammer series. He's not really got good effects, and well, a lot of people will just avoid Tretch because there's much better Skaven involved. You've got characters such as Ikit or, you know, Deathmaster Snicketch. Those of them have really cool mechanics, but Tretch falls flat. But did you know that Tretch on the tabletop was actually quite good? Not only did he have one of the best looking Skaven models, and this is still kind of true despite the fact that he's not available for purchase anymore, but he also had some pretty decent rules for a nice thematic army. Plus, Clan Rictus, his clan, is actually pretty well known for certain things in lore, so it's a bit of a shame that the representation isn't done so well. So with all that being said, let's talk about a few things and what needs to change to make him much more fun and possibly a more likely chance that he'll get picked by players when the Immortal Empires comes out and, well, they want to play Skaven. So the most basic thing is having Tretch move to Crookback Mountain, which we're kind of expecting anyway, considering that they moved Tretch in the Realms of Chaos campaign, so you'd have a little bit of, well, presence, but, well, you know, his faction isn't too good. However, that's still pretty big news, considering that the Crookback Mountain is their lore-friendly start position, so it would be nice to have the proper start for Clan Rictus and Tretch, because he should really have an interesting fight eventually down the line with DLC, as around that area, you know, we've got dwarves to fight with, we've got greenskins, we've got the eventual coming of the Chaos Dwarves, and possibly Neferata too, so there'll be quite a lot to just fight about. And it's not just Dark Elves, and Dark Elves. If we look towards the faction and lord effects, this is taken from the Total War Warhammer wiki. They're not bad, but they could be better to bring them more in line with how Clan Rictus is, especially once we start comparing to the special rules that Tretch himself had in the tabletop with the 7th edition army book. A few changes here and there could easily just fix up any issues that Tretch's army does have and make them a bit more fun to use. So let's take some stuff that we've learned from Warhammer 3, with all the changes that came into effect and how it's changed the series so far, and let's discuss how this could be done. So let's talk about faction effects first. So when it comes to Scurry Away, that remains the same because that's something that the Skaven have naturally. Attribute and Courage for Storm Vermin units works very well because at the end of the day, like I said, Clan Rictus is very well known for their Storm Vermin army, and Recruit rank +3 for Storm Vermin units, once again, perfect. Obviously, the Public Order +4 when a diplomatic treaty is broken needs to be removed, because that only helps you for, well, nothing. Let's be honest here, it's something that makes you just want to have your reliability tank, and in most cases, after a certain point in your campaign, which is really not that far off, it's usually around 50 turns in, when you've got your footing, you don't really make use of this. I don't see it as something that's going to be very helpful. Instead, what I do think is that they should have a reduction to upkeep for all Storm Vermin units in the whole faction by, say, 13%. Now, hear me out here, that sounds like a big thing, but you know, 13 is a lucky number for the Skaven, it's their sacred number after all, and now we're getting a bit more used to having some melee units. The idea is that Khorne has shown us that melee armies are completely possible, and this is to add a little bit more flavor to make sure that you can bring some more stuff. And I think that's simple enough when it comes to faction effects, because overall they were pretty decent, but a little change just helps a long way. If we go into the lord effects, this is when things need to change a bit more, because what we do have is melee attack +13 during ambush battles for Tretch's army, which I guess works well, but that depends if you get the ambush or not. Melee attack +13 after retreating when attacked. I don't like this because, you know, retreating you can't really control, so you could end up in a different location and you wouldn't be able to actually get into a fight, so you wouldn't be able to use the bonus. It's just a bit of a weird thing. And then attribute Vanguard deployments for Tretch's army. Again, not bad, but I think it could be done better. So first up, I'd say that we'd get Devastating Flanker to Clan Rats and Storm Vermin in Tretch's army. Just Tretch's army alone, but you see, that's something that we kinda had on the tabletop, which is Tretch's Raiders. Tretch is an expert at attacking disadvantaged foes, a master at hacking down enemies that aren't looking. When Tretch is in combat, he and any unit of Clan Rats or Storm Vermin he joins re-rolls all failed to hit rolls when attacking the flank or rear. So obviously you can't join units, but you can lead them here, and it kind of makes sense to have that just to be able to do a bit more damage on the flank and the rear. It's still Clan Rats and Storm Vermin, so they'd still not be absolutely like amazing, but they'd be able to do more damage, and it fits well with the lore. Funny enough, when I started playing Sinestro during early access and saw Devastating Flanker, I thought, oh, this could work really well for Tretch and give him a little bit more of a competitive edge, especially because, again, the clan's a bit of a joke at the moment. Next, we're going to keep one thing, which is the melee attack plus 13 during ambush battles, because, yeah, you still do get ambushes often enough, but it should also be added that it's not just ambush battles, but underground battles too. You do get a fair amount of underground battles when you play as the Skaven, especially if you start using the Underway and you're fighting against, say, for example, dwarves or greenskins. So the idea is to incentivize you to bring more melee and, you know, boost up your Storm Vermin even further. You still have your support of everything else, but it's just to give a bit more of a Storm Vermin focus. And with a little change of heart, I could say that the Attribute Vanguard deployment for Tretch's army could stay, as it would synergize very, very well with Devastating Flanker, plus it would only be for Tretch's army, not faction-wide, so it does work out quite well, and it will make sure that Tretch is used more as a legendary character. He's able to do a bit more damage, and his army will just be a bit more stronger. And finally, new mechanics. Well, there's not really that much that could be done, mostly because, well, the Skaven already have so much going for them. A massive tech tree, which is probably one of the best that there is in the Warhammer series at the moment. Then we've got a lot of units, a lot of different styles, you've got so much variety, and obviously then stuff like Undercities. There's really not that much of a need, especially for a minor clan, to have stylized mechanics just for them. We know that Creative Assembly like to have the idea that there should be at least one or two factions which should be the entry-level character. Unfortunately, their entry-level characters are usually the baseline characters which really should get a bit more love. You know, Clan Pestilence is a big one. Clan Moors could get something quite interesting. So when it comes to Clan Rictus, I believe Clan Rictus should be the baseline faction for the Skaven. So this is the first one that you'll go to if you don't have anything, but they could still have something fairly unique. This would be the inclusion of a new unit known as the Rictus Storm Vermin, because they have always been a little bit stronger, and the way that you'd recruit them is it would work in a very similar system to that on how the Dwarfs of Karak Kadrin or even the Huntsmaster get their units, the special supply reinforcement unit type of thing. So as long as you hold Crookback Mountain and you've upgraded it all the way to its final tier, so this would be tier 5 because it's a capital, then you'd have a chance at getting an event where it could happen maybe once every 5 turns or just be very RNG focused. You'd then be able to instantly recruit a small number of Rictus Storm Vermin. These Rictus Storm Vermin would be a bit stronger in terms of stats all around, and you'd have them like that, literally just like the reinforcement pool. The unit wouldn't be unique, and it would just be a recolor and some better stats, but you could instantly recruit troops so long as you have available in your pool, and again, more of a melee focus, Storm Vermin focus. Keep it in line with the lore, but something just fairly basic. This also helps if, like, say for example, you're taking a bit too much damage, and you need to recruit an army very quickly. Well, some Rictus Storm Vermin will be there to help. I'm trying to keep this as basic as possible, because this is Clan Rictus. It doesn't need the attention that Clan Pestilence does, but it's just to give them a bit more flavor, and I think something like this would work rather well, just to have, well, just something. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and we'll start a bit of a discussion, because the idea is this is going to be a series. Some characters are going to get a bit more attention, some of them not so much, like Tretch.